Hey everyone, it's Bijal. I'm here doing my first AMA, which if you're anything like me, you are thought that AMA actually meant American Medical Association. So I learned AMA means ask me anything. And so I thought that it would be a good time to get out there in front of you guys and, start to see what are some things that you're thinking about. What are some questions on your mind? If it's anything related to design and graphics, obviously that's where my personal passion and MO lies. But during this time, as I mentioned before, I have been spending a lot of time learning more about mindset and how your mindset as a business owner can really guide you as you're working towards your goals and also motivate you. So so I'm just watching some people join in here. I am excited to see what questions that you guys have, and just feel free to post them on here. Or I'm going to blab on about design. So, one of the things I was recently experiencing and seeing is a lot of people are asking questions about why is it important to brand themselves. And I think that it's one of those terms, like the term branding and logos has kind of taken over a little bit how technology did a while ago. And, I think that you have to be really careful on the brand that you're putting out there. And in this world and in this digital age where there is so many different things that are out there, and it's just causing you, to have to compete in this environment that we weren't used to competing in before. You have to be really selective on how you position yourself. And what that means is it is way beyond a logo. It's way beyond what you think you like in terms of a logo. And I see a lot of people getting confused with that. And they kind of go on to these different groups and wonder, okay, well, here's my style. This is what I like. And but oftentimes it has actually nothing to do with what their business is. And so if somebody wants a personal logo or a brand just to represent who they are as a person, sure. But literally every person in business is in there for a reason to do certain things. They're in there because they're trying to get an outcome of what it actually is. And you're not able to effectively reach your client base if you're designing your logo based on your personal tastes. And I've noticed a lot of that is out there. And I think that if you start to work on your logo from the point of view of what would your ideal client like, what would your ideal customer like, you're going to get just so much more traction when it comes to figuring out how to attract them. I think also there is a lot to give to the process of how to do that. And I think that people think of a logo as like a 2-inch by 2-inch square. And it's actually much more than that. It's the face of your business. Your brand is actually what people say when you're not in the room. It's not what your perception is. It's not what you like. It's not because you like a modern font that you're attracting a certain type of people. Like, unless you're specifically designing something aesthetic, it kind of doesn't matter. Okay, so got a question here from Shayna. How do you balance being a badass mama while kicking butt as an entrepreneur? So that is a fantastic question. And I think that the first thing it comes to is, you hear those things like, oh yeah, I can do it all. And I manage it all. And I do yoga on the side. And I bake community, cookies for my school. And I'm like, great. Like, I don't know how you're doing that, but like, awesome and good for you. I just want to say that you do what is right for you. I very often have a much longer list of what I would hope to do versus what I actually can do. And so the first thing actually starts with me and my own expectations of myself. And so when I start comparing to Karen, let's just call her Karen, because there's so many memes about that. When I compare to Karen and everything she's doing, I immediately am sucking energy out of myself. I'm immediately putting myself into a position of lesser or lower power. And I'm saying, I'm not Karen. I don't know how to be Karen. Oh my God, Karen's so awesome. Karen's kids know how to count and they know how to do addition and multiplication. And that puts me into a really negative mind space and a mindset. And that's not coming from a place of power. And so if you're looking to balance, where you are in your life, really the only person who should be your judge and jury is yourself. And I think what we all need to do, as myself included, is be more realistic with what we can achieve and be more real with ourselves on what we actually want. And so I'd say this, if your desire is at work at the moment, right? Let's say your desire is at work, you have a really big project, you're trying to impress your client and you're trying to gain some upward mobility in where you're at, that's okay. We need to be honest with ourselves. This is probably not going to be the week to potty train. Your kid is probably not going to get organic meals this week, but that doesn't mean that you're not balancing and that it's not a win. There are shifting priorities based on what you actually want for yourself. The second thing I'll say beyond that, which is I'd say more than 70% of it is actually mindset. That's a lot of what it is. Beyond that is being extremely like a time Nazi. You've got to be so critical of where every minute of your time is going and planning for that time in advance of that day and blocking out the time to say, I'm going to spend 2 hours on this project. It's uninterrupted. I'm not picking up the phone. I'm not responding to emails. I'm not responding to other clients. Unless there is a serious emergency, I'm only focusing this time on that. And what that does, at least it's done it for me, is my focus becomes so hyper-focused on what I'm doing and delivering. I start to finally get momentum on my work, and I start to find that what would have taken me 4 hours is actually taking me 2 because the lack of those interruptions. So that's what I would say are 2 really good tips on the question, which was how to balance being a badass mama while kicking butt as an entrepreneur. So mindset is number 1, first and foremost. What's number 2 is making sure that you are setting your own acceptable expectations of what you can actually do and not being unrealistic and not comparing to Karen, who's got it all, supposedly. And then number 3 is being a Nazi about your time management. Your time is actually your most non-renewable resource. There's 2, there's time and energy. It's actually not money. If you lose some money, you can go back and make more money. You're going to have, money is actually a lot more flexible. And I think we all kind of focus on that as our resource. Not true. Our time, energy. We can't get back time. We've got to be able to focus on exactly how we're going to spend that time. So that's what I think is a great way to do that. I think, kind of talking more on the topic of just moms and being an entrepreneur. I think there's a lot of moms that are out there that we are extremely passionate about being mothers and we care a ton and we want to see the best for our children. And we want to be the frontline players in that. I often talk to my husband and say, hey, I appreciate you doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm glad that you were able to do this, but I still want to be there. I still want to be there for when it comes time to their big shows, or if there's a field trip and, I'm not at the school and then, Sayoni comes home and goes, well, how come you weren't there, mommy? There were other mommies there. I still want to be number 1 in my kids' eyes and that I was there during the time that they were growing up. I don't want to regret that. I refuse to regret that. And so, I've kind of made it a quest of mine. I've made it actually a part of my business mantra is to be able to be an awesome mom, and then be an awesome business owner and an entrepreneur. I just have also realized you can't always do both at the exact same time. But just because you prioritize one for a few days and you prioritize the other for a few days, or there might be weeks where it cycles back and forth, doesn't mean that you're not gaining that momentum. So yeah, I've got a few people on here. Feel free. I'd love to get more questions from the crowd. Anything that you're up to. This is ask me anything that you'd like. Anything you're struggling with or want to just have some dialogue about. I think it's great actually during this time during COVID that because a lot of us are able to work from home and remotely, that we're able to take this time to pause and reflect and think about things that we want to change. We think about, stuff that we want to do differently and finding ways to better our life and find more fulfillment. And I think that that's a key is that a lot of people during this point in time have gone in here, realized that like the world is really lonely without actually being connected to people, and they're trying to find fulfillment within. So I've got another question from Crystal. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Deepak. Hey, Sean. Hey, Shayna. Okay, so let me get Crystal, and I'll get right back to you, Shayna. Can you tell me a little bit about your business since we just became friends? What is your business? Absolutely, Crystal. This is what this is about, networking. So my personal business is doing commercial interior design. And I do that for office spaces, coffee shops, retail shops, restaurants. Right now I'm actually working on a 17,000 square foot business club, brand new construction that's happening in Charleston, South Carolina. And so we are a completely virtual remote design company, which is not it's not very common within what I do. But I set up the company that way because I feel like it's really important for other moms to be able to have the flexibility that I got too. So yeah, that's what I do. I also do some graphic design as well. So logo creation, branding. So I kind of started with that point of view since that seems to be a lot of what I'm reading about right now on groups. So thanks for the question. Okay, got another question from Shayna. Sorry, one more. What entrepreneurial resources do you find helpful? Books, organizations to join, and podcasts. Okay, this is a really great question. So, what you surround yourself is exactly what you start to emulate. That's so true. I don't feel like I even realized that as much. But being able to surround yourself with that knowledge and those people who think like that will up level your thinking. So if you are feeling like I did at some points as a mom that your entrepreneurial spirit is so high, and then you get into some of these mommy groups, and then beyond that, you're into that, and then you start to all the questions are surrounding kids, them, their education, and, sippy cups and stuff like that. And you're kind of like, well, I think that's important too, but I also want to grow myself. So, there are really awesome groups on Facebook, and I'm not an affiliate of any of those, but happy to share some of them that I've just become a part of. And so I don't know too much about them all, but I'm trying and I'm getting exposed. And that's actually how I met Crystal. So one of the groups is called Boss Moms. And I think that's a really cool group. It's got about 50,000 moms in there. Apparently a ton of them from Texas that I learned. So that was cool, meeting people who are doing all kinds of different things and learning through them. And even being able to experience, their pains and struggles, and maybe even be able to help in something they've gone through. So Boss Moms, women helping women, entrepreneurs. So if you go into Facebook and within those groups start searching, women business, entrepreneurs, those kind of search terms, you'll start getting cued in to those various types of groups that focus on women specifically. And through those groups, you start to, it's important to start to contribute to other people's posts. Because I know I'm going to just speak more honestly about my experience with Facebook, which is somewhat new, actually. Like, I didn't use all of these other features. And so one of the things about group etiquette is once you get into the group, you fill out a couple questions. That's all normal. Read what their rules are. They've got a few rules. Sometimes they change from group to group. But the very best thing you could do is go in there and start reading and responding to other people's posts. And, even start liking posts, commenting. And then through that, you'll start to notice people are friend requesting you, or you go ahead and friend request them. What that does is it starts to build up your virtual network of friends, which I didn't realize was completely underutilized. I just kind of stuck to who I knew, and I'm super extroverted. I figured, oh, well, I've gotten to know everyone I can get to know in this time period while still building deeper relationships. But there's a whole world out there. There's somebody who's going through exactly what you're going through, or might be ahead of your process, which is fantastic. And there's also so much strength in helping somebody who is not quite there, because I'm a true believer that you don't fully cement your knowledge until you give it away. And what that means is until you give that knowledge on and you give it to someone else, you haven't fully been able to get through that. It hasn't fully cemented in your mind. So the questions as it relates to books, I am starting to read a few books. I've heard Psycho-Cybernetics, and it's a big, long term. I've just started to delve into that. I've heard that's a really good one. I'm getting to this other book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and which I know is opposite of Mom, but apparently it's like the financial basis of what a lot of people who are really accomplished, they still refer back to that book and say, hey, this is where this is like a foundational element. So I'm happy to start sharing some of those more as I'm reading those and find things that really speak to me. But as it comes to the support and gaining that momentum, it's starting to get into those groups, start to comment on those people's groups, help where I can, start to make friends with certain people, and start using Messenger, start using Facebook Messenger. Hey, cool, I saw your post, and go click on their profile and say, oh, are you from here? Oh yeah, I went there, XYZ, what is your business? And start making those kind of conversations so you can truly find some more contacts. And then if you do start to click with somebody in the you'll figure out quickly if that vibe and that conversation is going well. And then, honestly, beyond that, take it beyond Messenger and say, can we hop on a Zoom? Like, I'd love to learn more about you and just chit chat, and maybe we can help mentor one another, and get on a 30-minute Zoom with them, or even an hour, because I found myself just clicking with so many of these people I've met, and it just has come naturally. So, but it takes some boldness. I feel like the virtual world is a little bit like, when you go to a networking mixer and you're there and you're like, oh my God, I'm by myself. I have no idea what to say. But a lot of people are there by themselves and don't know what to say. So make the first move, I guess is what I'm saying. So Crystal, oh, awesome. You have a lot of clients who have Airbnbs, definitely work together. Awesome. Great. And Crystal also said that these are some of the best connections she's made has been online. So I love hearing that. I agree with you, Crystal. I've started to make a lot of friends, like real friends, from these online groups, and, starting to really partake in them, learning about their lives, their missions, and it has started to influence me. And so when I have shared some things about myself and they've shared back, and then, we always talk about the mom juggle in between. Somebody always has a helpful piece of advice. Or even just saying, yeah, I know, it's super hard. I don't know, like you seem like everything's going great. And I'm like, no, I have some tough days. I definitely do. And, I'm just trying to put myself out there and keep bringing that positive energy and that positive mindset, which I said is, I think, super key. So let me know if you guys have any other questions on here. I've kind of covered a lot of topics right now, starting from graphic design and branding, and then getting into one of my favorite topics, which is, how to be an awesome, badass mompreneur. So saying hey to some of my people joining. I got my girl Sajal on here. Hey Sajal, what's up? I've got Xtina, who is just ridiculously awesome in this kind of space. If you want to talk about a boss babe who I've considered to be really like new friend, but a deep friend, a good friend, that's somebody I met online. So, and it's just amazing how you can click with somebody so quickly. So yeah, let me know if there are questions. I'd love to answer them and get this conversation going. I will say, knowing some of the people who are on this call right now, is I want to be totally honest, is, you know, and I'm talking to Shayna, I'm talking to Christina, when your baby is less than 12 months old, the fact that you got up and took a shower is like, hey, Elise, what's up? This question pertains to you. When you have a baby, when you are a first-time mom and your baby is less than 12 months old, not 12 months, sorry, less than 18 months old, and you shower that day, honestly, check, check, check. In terms of expectation, you have done awesome. It is monumentally difficult to have your first child and try to do anything. And let me tell you, I have two now. So I guess I've like survived two children. So I guess I'm an expert now. I don't know. It in some ways is harder with the second child, but in a lot of ways it's easier. I didn't fret as much with the second child. I didn't get as anxious. I actually had experience. I knew what I was doing. My body actually got more into the rhythm of being a mom soldier, which I think I am sometimes. And I also knew with confidence and certainty that I was not totally screwing up in life. Like that was one of my biggest worries about being a hardworking mom is I'm like, oh my God, is like, are my kids going to end up in therapy or something and be like, well, if only mommy was at home making sandwiches for me and we were crafting from our Pinterest ideas, I wouldn't be in this position. And I have these like crazy thoughts. And I can tell you with the second child, I know for certainty that my kid is doing awesome. She still has bad days, regardless of if we do crafts or not have crafts. And that I also started to learn that she is her own person. And as quickly as two, and you guys are almost going to get there, but as quickly as your kid turns two, they start to have their own personality. And you're like, what happened? I thought we were like this. And, you know, they start to grow into their own human being. So I want to give a shout out. If you are a first time mom and your kid is less than 18 months old, you are in the biggest grind there is out there. So here's what you can do. If you're doing all of this at this point in time, just know it does get easier. And if you're able to level up and show up like this, you've got the discipline, you've got the skill set, and you do have the confidence. So don't get in your own way. Don't beat your own self up. Okay. Don't compare to another mom who's like, oh, my baby's like saying 6 words now and the pediatrician was so impressed. No one cares, okay? Let me tell you, it does not make a difference. It doesn't make a difference when your kid walks. It doesn't matter how much your kid likes their broccoli or whatever you're feeding them. It does not matter when they roll over. It really, I mean, unless there is a major issue, which you would know in your gut, if they're not talking, oh, whatever, they will. And when they start talking, you are going to be like, oh my God, please stop. So don't use these baby milestones as your own report card as a mom. That is not your report card as a mom. Your report card as a mom is the fact that you kept the kid alive, that you can find one positive thing about what you guys did today, how you guys interacted. And then the third thing after that is being an awesome mom also has to do with the fact that you feel good about what you're doing, that you feel good about being whole on the inside. I'm going to say hi to some more people who joined. My sister-in-law, Ruchi. Hey, what's up? Lion Landry, how's it going? I've got Manish walking, watching Carolina. Hey. We are just talking about how difficult it is when you're a first-time mom and you're trying to bust your butt in your business. So I just want to set those expectations true. So we had another question related to mom guilt. And, you know, I want to expand on that some too, is that there is also such a thing as dad guilt. I don't know if y'all even knew that. I actually didn't think it existed. I felt like it was only with us, but we'll save that for a different time when it's focused on the guys. So how you deal with mom guilt. So mom guilt is, again, that root of why you feel guilty is two things. You are comparing to somebody else. So let's bring up again my favorite girl, hypothetical Karen. Karen's on Facebook. Karen's kids are perfect. She seems like she looks cute, goes to yoga. Her kids are always dressed nicely and they seem to be pleasant. They have all these cute videos and you're like, wow, look what Karen's doing. They're at the zoo again. I remember when I was with Sayoni, I'd compare to certain moms and I'd be like, how do they go to the zoo so often? For me, going to the zoo is such a big ordeal. And that's the first thing is compare leads to despair. Compare leads to despair. And I say it over and over again because it needs to penetrate my brain. I feel like I need to get this thick hair out of the way and let it penetrate. As human beings, we typically compare, and we're in this world of social media where it seems so easy to do so. Dude, do not worry about Karen. Worry about number one. You are number one. Worry about yourself. Set a level of expectations that are honest and real and are achievable. I want you to actually lower your standard and then tell me how your mom guilt feels. Lower your standard so you get one thing done today. If that means, and here's an example, if that means having a super fun bath time where you're completely present and you're there and you're fun and you're the best version of who you are, and it doesn't have to be fun. It could be loving and caring or silly or whatever you want to be. The best version of you, do it for 10 minutes during bath time. That could be your achievement of the day, that you're mom of the year, okay? The second thing, beyond not comparing and setting your own expectations, is knowing and with in all of your heart, knowing that this is going to get better, that this is going to get easier, and that you have some days that are harder than other days. Much of your guilt is completely self-proposed. You think you should be doing this, but you're not, and now your kid is suffering. Your kid's not suffering. Your kid doesn't care. Your kid is actually not affected in really any way by what your perception of what they need is. Everything that you need, you're actually providing. So that guilt is coming from an expectation and a lack of fulfillment from within. The other thing is, you do need to be fulfilled as a mom. You need to be able to be happy about yourself. You need to be able to be happy about your workouts, your body, your business, your mind, your friendships, your relationships. You have to. It is like that old analogy that you got to put on your own mask before you can put on others. Now, that's a difficult one for me because I imagine myself in the plane, and if the plane's going down, I really don't know what I'm going to do. If that happens, I'll report back. But that is the strategy. That is the goal. And the other one, which is a little bit easier for me to understand, you cannot fill from an empty bucket. So if your bucket is empty, if you are drained, if you have nothing left, you can't fill a cup from an empty bucket. So fill your bucket. You deserve it. You need it. And you need to be the best version of yourself. And that is how you're going to be the best mom that you can be. It's not by giving every shred of anything you ever have to your child. So, okay. So we got a few more people on. Hey, Sierra, thanks for joining. Let me know if you guys have any more questions, or I'm going to wrap it up here soon. I'm so appreciative for the audience, and I'm really appreciative for any of the questions that you guys are bringing and sharing that are super real and relevant. And just the notion that we are, all of us working moms, especially through quarantine, are juggling the hardest battle that is ever out there. It's super difficult, whether that battle is within ourselves, which is the hardest one, in my opinion, or whether it's outside. We are really, really strong at heart. I mean, this is an extremely challenging time, and I think that there is a lot of strength in numbers. I truly believe that. And I think that this is a time for solidarity and for true support. And I used to always wonder, what does support actually mean? I was kind of confused about that. But I think support also means coming out here and being able to be who you are and to be ready and kind of open to change your mindset and to change how you think so that you can feel better. Like that's the goal of this. That's the goal of this period of time, is not to get drugged down by everything that's negative and everything that's scary. It's time to find that power within. And I think every single one of us moms knew the second that baby popped out that there was a different power within us. So claim it, own it, it's in you, and defend it. Defend your power and know that your gut instinct of what you feel inside, you were able to develop that. Lean on that, trust on that. And if you're ever having a moment where you feel down or depleted or mom guilt or whatever, come on Facebook, post it. I swear to you, post it. You will be amazed at the outpouring of what I call mom support will come at you with 10,000 like pieces of advice or just even virtual hugs or I've been there. Sometimes just the I've been there is like the best thing that you could ever hear. So, yes, I just wanted to thank everyone who's joined. Got a few more people who joined. Angelica, hey Angie, Miriam, back from UF, and my new friend Corey. I hope you enjoyed this live. It's kind of a trial and process, so I appreciate all the questions and the viewership. I encourage you to go out there and put yourself out there to find your strength within. Know and tell yourself every morning, I am an awesome mom. I am an awesome mom. I am an awesome mom. Sometimes I even do that when my kids are like screaming in the morning and I just like lock myself in the bathroom and I just tell myself that. And you know, I don't know, maybe it works and it starts to sink in a little bit, but yeah, that's right, Suresh Uncle. Lower your expectations and everyone is everything. See, this is a man of a lot of experience. So anyways, all right, guys, thanks for your time. I hope you guys have an awesome Tuesday. And remember that every day is a day to grow. Every day is a day to learn and to change. If you're having a bad day, though, don't keep it inside. Reach out to somebody. You have many people around you. And I will talk to you later. Okay, bye.